6 years, 4 months ago, in January of 2018, what was in the paper during the summer transfer was the story of Coutinho. Coutinho was that superstar not only in England but all around the world. While playing for Liverpool, Barcelona tabled a bid. If I'm correct now, I think it's around 140 million pounds. Looking at today's evaluation, that would be around 300 million pounds. And that deal shook the world. It made sense on paper. Coutinho was 25, he was almost speaking. But what a lot of people didn't see is the behind the scenes that happened behind the transfer. That season, Barcelona wanted him so desperately, but 3 years later, he was loaned out 4 clubs in 5 years. A career that peaked at 26 and he never recovered. Now, was that Coutinho's fault alone? Of course, you will agree with me that that was not his fault. It was not a singular fault. Barcelona was the right environment at that right time? Clearly not. This is the question nobody was asking. Where was Coutinho's agent at that time? Where is me and where is you at that time if we are his agent? Would you have advised him to go to Barcelona or would you have advised him to stay? I'm not talking about the agent that processed the deal, but I'm talking about the agent who was supposed to ask the right question. Is this the right move for Coutinho at that particular time? This is what this episode is going to be talking about. If you are just joining us, this is the agent versus the agency series. This is the third episode. Activity is not relevance. Welcome back to the Agents versus the Agency series. This is episode 3. If you are just joining us, I would advise you watch episode 1, then episode 2 after you're done watching this one. Episode 1, we talked about the big question in the industry. Who is the real agent? Is it about your knowledge, your positioning, or about the people you know or your contact? On episode 2, we talked about something more practical to both of us, something we all face at every point in time in our career. It is about our psychic, it's about our mindset. We call that the agent trap. Today we bring into practice because the agents I've watched build their careers that genuinely last just don't have good strategy. They avoid specific, recurring, costly operational mistakes that most agents make. And we are titling this Activity is Not Relevance. Sit back, enjoy this, like all the guys in our community have always done. Subscribe if you have not done that, like and share and repost, and let's go straight into it. It is a very popular thing in the industry in which you see a lot of us, we celebrate our successes. Nobody really shows the behind the scene. Nobody really shows what happens in the background. Nobody really shows the mistakes that all of us have made before we get to where we've got into. And this can be very, very misleading. And that is why a lot of people think the agent business is a glamorous business or a walk in the park. And that is why we are talking about activity is not relevance. The football industry is very biased towards, being offensive. I mean, you're going full throttle, you're going attack. Everything in the culture celebrates the deal that gets done. Everything in the culture celebrates the transfer that happened. Nobody talked about the transfer that didn't happen. Nobody wants to hear it. Of course, it's a common thing when people say nobody wants to see the work, they just want to see the result. That is what exactly dictates or shows or reflects what our industry is all about. The signing that made the headlines are good, the success stories. If you go to LinkedIn now, everybody's putting it out there. I'm also guilty. So this is not a one-sided kind of approach or a kind of behavior that you find against just one set of people, but it's something that goes around the industry. It's our standard. But what I just want to correct today, or what I'm appealing to other agents or to people who are in the sports business industry, not to focus so much on that and lose track of what is supposed to be. Let's look at the big agents, like the Jogi Mendes. If you see what they are doing, the way they organize and put their energy around acquisition, around opportunity, and around what they can chase next, in as much as they are getting some things done, they build a whole lot of infrastructure for their players, for their agency. I like to use Jogi Mendes in this approach because he pioneered this comprehensive approach of career management of players. That's contract structuring, public image, sponsorship deals, and long-term career planning. And of course, it is obvious. We can see the way he did that for Cristiano Ronaldo. Up until now, nobody has broken the record. Biggest sponsorship deal for an athlete. I think Cristiano Ronaldo brand is around a $1 billion dollars, in which he is the first player that sold his image right to a personal company. which you can now start seeing that being remolded. We saw that in Bukayo Saka as well, in which his own particular personal sponsorship company, Image Right, is worth over 4.5 or around £5 million. So a lot of people don't see this in the headline, but you don't just happen to get there, because there's a popular saying that says the guy on top of the mountain didn't jump there. He planned it, he used the right tools, right line, he had the right support around him for him to be able to climb either Mount Fiji or Mount Everest. And these are those mistakes that we're going to be talking about in this place or on this episode that a lot of us don't pay attention to. There are four, and we're going to be taking them one by one. Remember, activity is not relevance. That is the crux of this episode. The first mistake we are going to be talking about is the mistake agents make. And that mistake is very common among everybody. Not truly understanding your player's level. Before I go into this big story, I'm going to be using the Coutinho framework. Let me talk about myself personally. There's a very good partner of mine. His name is Danny. Big guy, big agency. We work together. And yes, if you're in the Ball Business Premium or in the community group, if you have players across the world or mostly African players, you want to bring them in Europe, Danny is a very good pipeline. You can reach out to me and we'll talk about that afterwards. So now I sent Danny this video of a younger player, very good player, strong, athletic. And Danny was like, "Oh, Fumbi, I think this country will be good for him." And I said, "No, Danny, relax. This is my player. I know him so well. I don't think that level is good for him. That level is too much for him, unless he's going to the probably second division or even third division of that level. Because I understand my player, not just about watching him in stats or seeing him scoring all the goals or making all of the runs. I understand his level deeply, psychologically, player-wise, and mentality-wise. I understand what level fits him. And a lot of us don't do that. A lot of us jump at the very first opportunity we get for our clients or for our players, thinking that is the best deal. So now let's go to the Coutinho framework that I was talking about. Remember, it's almost 7 years now. It was January 2018. £140 million. Barcelona was asking for Coutinho, 5 years deal. Coutinho was the best thing in football at that time. Remember what Jurgen Klopp told him, and let me read that here. I put it down here. Klopp saw it coming. He famously told Coutinho directly. He told him, said, "Stay here, and they will end up building a statue in your honor. Go to Barcelona, and you'll just be another player." What happened afterwards? 3 years, 4 clubs on loan. Who would believe Coutinho would be the player that would be going on loan? Not that Coutinho was not good, not that he stopped playing wonderful football, but that system was not the right environment for him, and that place he was going was not the right move for him. So this is what we say when we talk about the first mistake, not really understanding your player's level. The quote from Jurgen Klopp is not about players' loyalty. This is about a player's assessment. Klopp saw everything that we did not see. Let me give you another practical example. Sent a player's profile to another agent of mine, and they started asking me for some stats and data. When we produce those stats, his speed, his maximum thrust, his acceleration, maximum jump, and all of those things. Please, guys, if you're an agent and you don't have data of your player, I think it's another mistake that we're going to be discussing later on, not in part of these mistakes now, but it's still part of the assessment we are talking about anyways. And when we sent those data out, the report we got was this environment would not fit this player according to this stats. Stats don't lie, and stats is very important as well. And we had to look elsewhere for that particular player. So sometimes, because the player is doing well, is doing good numbers, is playing week in, week out in a particular league or in a particular division, does not mean if the player moves elsewhere, is going to transcend and go into that trajectory. Honest assessment is very important, because now if you look at this story, when Coutinho joined Barcelona at 26, within 18 months, he was sent to Bayern Munich on loan, and his career peaked at 26. We never heard anything from him. If he had just played probably maybe one more season in Liverpool, things might have changed differently. The Barcelona he later went on loan could have been the Barcelona that would even end up paying double of that price. So we can see a whole lot of that in the industry if you look critically, because we can't just keep mentioning names. The player that waited and didn't go to a club, the player that waited and went to this particular club, we can see that success story, we can see that trajectory. Of course, it's not a one case fits all, or it's not a blanket statement to say once a player goes to this club, he might not perform very well. But what I'm saying is, as an agent, have you done your own honest assessment? Have you done your own due diligence? Are you not just trying to follow the headlines or just wanting to quickly make the deal done? One step back might even be the change that would transcend your career. So now it becomes, oh, that agent is not good. He shouldn't have let that deal happen. Or that agent is not good. He just chokes his player in places where they don't fit. The right environment at the right time is what builds the career of a player, and it also builds the career of an agent. So what are we talking about here? Honest assessment, not ambition, not desire. Honest assessment. That is the job. We'll be going into the second mistake, which is thinking short term. You'll see this one runs into the first mistake we just finished talking about. So the second mistake follows directly from the step. When an agent prioritizes visibility over the right deal, they are thinking short term. Mistake two, thinking short term. Of course, we talked about the psychological trap, in the last episode. This one seems more of like a structural trap. That agent that was on Liverpool side deserved a very big round of applause. Not because he was able to get a £142 million for Liverpool, but what happened next is the most important thing. And let's look at Liverpool's side of the story. While Barcelona was celebrating the marquee signing, the next Ballon d'Or superstar, and we all saw the talent that Coutinho had and the special player that he was. What did Liverpool do? Liverpool looked into the future and say, okay, you know what, guys? We've gotten this 142 million. What would be the next 5 years look like? Who will be the next superstar that will replicate the success that Coutinho has brought to the club? You'll be surprised. You think they would have signed another out and out player. What they did was to bring in two big names. They were not that big like Coutinho that was leaving, or they are not as popular as they are now. If you following Liverpool story, you will know these two guys. And surprisingly, it was two defenders or two players in the defensive outline. And that was the best goalkeeper for a very long time in the Premier League, Alisson Becker, Champions League winner, Premier League winner. Van Dijk, one of the highest ranking defenders. He almost snatched the Ballon d'Or award this season. Liverpool won the Champions League. So they signed Virgil van Dijk and Alisson. Liverpool thought in career arcs. They thought in career future, not in individual transfers. Now they ask, what does this club need over the next 5 years? What does selling this player at maximum value enable us to build? You see, those two frameworks decides the future of the club and in terms of the player that they are going to sign. Trust me, coach has a very good or manager has a very big and important role to play in this decision making for clubs, but agents also make this happen. You'll be surprised the connections that agents and club have. I can speak on that because on a personal level, I know how many clubs we deal with. They might not be as big as Liverpool guys, trust me, but these are Premier League clubs in their respective countries, and we are so big in their decision making. And you can see that also in the Jogi Mendes framework with the relationship he has built with Wolverhampton in the Premier League. You see clubs like AS1 developing strategies for clubs, for leagues. You will see agents in La Liga doing similar roles or playing similar roles in the Spanish Premier Division. So what short-term thinking does, if you don't think in long-term, it produces in practice something that at the end of the day you would not like. If you don't think in long-term, of course, that means you're thinking short-term. And what short-term thinking does, on paper, that might be very good, but in reality, that might be the thing that will bite your player career in the butt, or even sting or stunt your own career as an agent. Let me give you these two practical examples because I like using real life story. There's a 28 years old championship player. This really happened in England. He had two options: join a club that, top club, they want to seek promotion, or join the club that just recently escaped relegation. So he had two choices. The one that played in the playoff wanting to get promotion looks like the good deal for him on paper. They had other massive players in that particular role that player was going. So they might paint it for you. Oh, that's the competition. That is where it's good for you. You would improve playing under this sort of players. That can happen. But trust me, in football, playing consistently, playing week in, week out, being an outlier where you are is the best way to go. I always say these things. If you look at the top companies when they are trying to acquire or hire people to work for them, they look at outliers, guys that are very good in their particular school or in the particular place they were coming from. So forget about the grades. I would rather hire, or companies would rather hire somebody who is first position in a B league institution, coming out of a B league institution, than hire somebody who is, let's say, practically bottom of the class in an Ivy League institution. You might be surprised if the person in bottom league of the class goes to that B league or C suite institution, that person might be topping the class. But because of the performance or the grades you've brought out in that A league institution, other things might seem irrelevant. That is the, according to statistics, that is the best framework to look at when you are hiring people. Not because that person is more brilliant than other institution. The confidence that comes out, or the confidence that comes in play from that individual, because that person performs as a top class person, he performs at the highest level. He saw that, oh, I can be the best because I've just coming from being the best in where I'm coming from. We should also look at that in terms of our players. We should think in future, not think in short term. Because if you put your player in a place where he performs, where he's mostly the best player, his confidence level grows, and that pushes him into the next level. So now going back to that story, the guy went to the other, big team, big club, and they had to sign another person. Trust me, that guy in 18 months, the one who went to the guys vying for promotion, did not play consistently because the ambition was too big for him. The guys he met at that side was just too big. Let me give you a very good recommendation, a very good movie to watch to see this thinking long-term approach make sense to you. Go to Netflix, go and watch the Jamie Vardy story if you have not watched it. How he rise from being dropped out in Sheffield Wednesday. Shout out to Sheffield Wednesday fans, Hillsborough guys, and playing in non-league before he found himself in Fleetwood before he went to Leicester. Look at the struggles. I don't want you to look at the success. Of course, there are other external factors. Look at the struggles when he joined Leicester City. The decision that made the agent choose. Look at the struggles. Leicester was not the best in terms of cash, in terms of opportunities on paper. Leicester, because was not the best in terms of cash, wanted Vardy to succeed. They had a conversation with the agent, and that was why he chose Leicester. And Viola, what happened? Boom. Vardy became the sensation that we all celebrate today. So the question is never just what club is bigger. The question is, where does this player have the conditions to thrive, have the conditions to succeed right now? And like I always say, follow the Mendes selective strategy, focusing on players and coaches with high sporting ceilings and commercial potentials as well is also very important. The off-field activities that suits the player, because once the player performs, the structure outside the pitch will also help him earn sponsorship deals, also help him earn other commercial opportunity. So if he goes to a place where he wouldn't perform or get game time, or it's not the best environment for him, all those commercial deals as well, you lose them. So play the long game, not as a cliche, but as an actual strategy. Mistake 3 is relational, talking too much and listening too little. Myself and Midun were recently on a call because this is the time of the year where you start talking about contract extension, negotiations. And coincidentally, this happened, I think, 2 days ago. Yes, this, if you're watching probably months later, this recording was done May 23rd. So just close to the end of the season. Now, we were speaking with the clubs. The club wanted to keep the player, in our opinion, but not wanting to actually improve the deals or the conditions that surrounds the player. And they keep talking about the player start. Oh, he's young, he's an excellent player. We like him. His character is lovely. We just let them keep talking. We just took our time to listen to them. We're talking about the sporting directors, the players manager, the coach. They were there. We just let them keep talking and us not interjecting them. And when it was time for us to speak, well, we just told them as a company, okay, good guys, we see all of this. We are not coaches. We don't go in details as to his performance. What is important to us is if you want to keep our player, send us the deal. We'll look at what you guys have offered. If it's good for him, he stays. If it's not good for him, we'll let you know what we think. And that was it. End of conversation. We didn't need to push. We didn't need to say too much. We didn't need to convince them as to why they need to keep the player, as to why they need to improve any offers when we've not even seen the offers they are talking about. So in relationships as agents, let us be on the side of caution while we are talking or making deals or while we are negotiating. Let's just reduce uh, the amount of information we give out when it is not necessary. So this might be an uncomfortable situation or an uncomfortable discussion. And you can see I've changed the framework while talking about this mistake, just a little bit more relaxed and a little bit, not going into details. I'll keep this also very short. So I drive the point straight down you guys' spine. So on a more serious note, agents that do a lot of talking, putting so much information out there that are quite not necessary, I think we need to relax on that and re-strategize. Another real life industry example on the other end of this spectrum, I've just talked about our own experience. We'll talk about the Jorge Mendes framework as well. His relationship with clubs like Wolves, Valencia, Benfica, and Porto were not built by pitching players at them. They were built by understanding those club structures and their ownership, their sporting philosophy. Those gaps, they are more important than present solutions. Another thing that really looks like talking too much, which is not talking too much, is the framework of acting too fast or divulging or concluding solutions to people who don't actually need that solution. There's this popular saying that says, sell me this water, and you see a lot of people saying, oh, this water is the purest water from Mount Fiji, this water is a spring water, if you drink this water, and you're selling to somebody that is not thirsty. The first question you should ask, are you thirsty? If the answer is yes, good, then you sell. Are you thirsty? The answer is no. You said, okay, no problem. So there's no need for you to push and sell the water because they are not your ideal customer personnel. This framework also helps in this industry. Talking too much, acting too much, wanting to be seen, wanting to be heard at every point in time. Sometimes it just comes off like a bit of show off. It comes off like a bit that you don't even know what you're doing. Clubs don't need pressure, they need solutions to the problems that they face. A friend of mine, we were just having a kind of discussion, in Eastern Europe, and he was showing us his laptop because we were there with another agent, showing us his laptop. Like, from BC, I get all these mails every day. Sending me this video of this player. None of them even really asked me the question, what sort of gaps are you guys looking at filling currently in your club or in your areas of improvement that are looking to improve? Some clubs just are looking at sponsorships. Some clubs are just looking at agents that can bring in deals to them. But you keep sending profiles of strikers, profiles of defenders, and you're just one of all of them. So that also might not translate to you actually doing the talking, but you acting in a way that is just too overbearing or overburdened. And that's why you see a lot of other agents, when you see them in groups, when you see them in WhatsApp chats, they just keep you sending you videos without actually asking, okay, is this needed? Is this profile what the club is looking for? So guys, we are all guilty, especially for young agents. I did that mistake when I started, so that's why we're talking about it now, so you don't do it. And if you ask me what are the best meetings that I've attended, or what are the best situations that I found myself and how did that meeting go, I will tell you the best meeting will ever be where the club official is the one doing all the talking for 30 minutes and I'm just there listening for 25 minutes. I'm listening to their pain point, and in that way, I'm able to offer a solution. So please, if you've not learned anything from this particular episode, that singular framework should be something you should take about. We're going to talk about the last mistakes on activities not relevance on this particular episode of agents versus the agency. The fourth mistake, which is going to be the last mistake we're talking about, is putting the player in the wrong spotlight. Remember the first framework or the first mistake we spoke about? This is slightly different. That was talking about putting the player in the wrong club. Now, spotlight is also very important because I want you guys to think in systems as an agency. You need to use that 360 approach. While you need to take care of the player on field, his off-field activities should equate to commercial value as well. And if you see the way we approach business in our company, the ball businesses, we do the off-field, we do the on-field as well. A lot of people don't even know us as a company that owns players or represent players. They see our outside activities or our commercial activities for players, for brands, than they see the on-field activities. And that is how agents should operate. Remember the example I gave about Jorge Mendes building a valuation of almost $1 billion around his player Cristiano Ronaldo. You saw that with the way Neymar did with his dad. You saw what Harry Kane did with his brother, because Harry Kane is represented by his brother. And you saw him moving him into Skechers, a different sports brand, not signing with the big deals like Nike, Adidas. You saw what Bukayo Saka did, pitching his tent with New Balance, unlike, a whole lot of other players, especially English players, relationship with Nike. Neymar went with Puma. So this is also very important. Putting the player in the wrong spotlight is something agents should pay attention to. So you see a 20 years old player is already an international, playing for his country, and the sponsorship deals are coming, the brand deals are coming, and you want to pitch your tent with the biggest ones in the industry because they offer the biggest price. That is not the way we should look at it, and that is not the way we should position our players as agents. In as much as we want money, they still resonate with putting him in the right spotlight, putting him with brands that actually want to work with him, want to also work for him. That is very important. Working with someone is different from working for someone. So in terms of sponsorship, in terms of spotlight, you should find brands that want to not only work with your player, but also work for them. Agents that is developing a player, let's say 20 years old central midfielder with genuine potential, you want to be eager to demonstrate the player's activities. You want to be eager to put the player out there. In as much as that eagerness is the right thing to do, is the right thing in terms of sense to approach, but you should be careful on how to go about it. There are a lot of good metrics out there to measure your player online or outfield opportunities. If you've seen one of our episodes that we did with Fiona Green, Pro Data Stack, if you've not watched it, go and look at it. How data helps your brand or helps the brand of your player. It's a very good software. It's a very good tool that a lot of agents use now, Pro Data Stack. And what that tool is doing, this is not a paid commercials or a paid activities for me to talk about it. If you watched me very well, I'll give you guys practical insight to what we use for ourselves or what we use by ourselves. Like one of the last episode, I talked about Danny Gill's book. Yeah, I've never met him one-on-one, but that book was good and I recommended it to a lot of other agents, which they bought it in how to build your brand as an agent. Of course, the Agents versus the Agency series, the book is also out there. If you want the book, you let me know and I'll be able to show you how to get it. So Pro Data Stack is one tool that a lot of agents uses, and not because the tool is good. It might be the difference why they are going to sign your player and why they won't sign your player. So let's say there are two 20 years old guys or 23 years old athletes. They have similar or same stats. Sponsorship deals or the player profile, is digital presence, is online footprint might be the reason why they would sign that other player, because what it brings on board commercially is more viable than the other player. So you see why spotlight is very, very important in the player's career. Not even from now the commercial valuation or money perspective, but from even signing or being the difference why you should sign your player. So these are some of the things you should use while negotiating a deal for a player. You say, oh, this guy, he's got 1 million followers on Instagram, 250K followers on TikTok. He can bring commercial viability for your brand or for your club. And that would be a reason why they should sign your player. So the wrong spotlight. There are good spotlight and there are wrong spotlight. And that is also why you need to also do media training for your players. But let's talk about the wrong spotlight in a little bit. The right approach for right players. So what sort of brands does your player want to represent? And this has to come from the player's system, from his own psychology. Don't push brands on a player. I don't want to go so much into probably religion or race, but it is easy to pitch an esports brand for your player that you know or understand that he loves playing video games. We've seen players like Victor Boniface is online, coming on TikTok live playing COD, which is very good. So an esports brand would easily want to pitch their approach or pitch their tent rather with such player like Boniface, because he already represents that culture of players. If you see a player who doesn't drink alcohol, like Vardy drinks alcohol, he loves it, he enjoys it, and Sadio Mane would not even celebrate or even collect when the Premier League case for Man of the Match award, used to be a bottle of champagne. A lot of players wouldn't collect it, and you don't want to put that player in a spotlight where you want him to represent alcohol beverages. You see, that is a wrong spotlight for a right player. So these things might look very easy on the face value, but as agents, you need to start looking into some of these things, and you need to start looking at how that can build a career, not only for yourself, but for your brand as well. So the right question you need to ask is, where does this player actually belong right now? And that will help you build a system around his visibility, around you choosing the right spotlight for him. If you've enjoyed this episode, I want you to, get in and check our last episode, Who is a Real Agent and What Threatens You from the Inside. That is your agent trap. Also, which is most important for you to support us, I want you to subscribe, I want you to like, I want you to share. And if you're just starting out, you're looking for a community to join, the Ball Business community is the best place to be as an agent or as an agency. And most importantly, if you want to build a career for yourself, for your player, BallBridge is the app that you should use. With BallBridge, you can have your own CRM systems, you can build your scouting dossiers for your players, you can track your invoice as an agency, you have all your tools in one place. You can even start building your own digital footprint through BallBridge. Please send us an email, send us a DM. If you need more questions on some of these things, please come directly to us. We are an agency that is very approachable, not only to our own players, but to everybody in the industry. Thank you so much, and look forward for the next episode, which is What Agencies Don't Tell You. My name is Fumbi Ogunfua, and I am with the Ball Business. Bye, guys. Cheers.